Hey everybody, my name's Mickey Davis, my pronouns are she and her, and I am the Senior Health Educator at Maternal and Family Health Services. In this video, we're going to talk about having the talk. Talking to our young people about sexuality can sometimes feel really uncomfortable because a lot of times we make those conversations really taboo in our society. So today I want to talk to you all about what we can do to make that easier and more comfortable for everybody. So part of the reason this is really important is that we want our young people to know that we're a safe place that they can come to ask questions and get some answers, even if we don't always know them. By creating this conversation with our young people, we're saying, I want you to come to me, I'm glad you came to me, and we can have this conversation. This is an okay place to do that. We don't necessarily want to do is make our students or our young people or our kids think that coming to us they're going to get bad reactions or they're going to get yelled at. We want to create that open, safe space. And a lot of times people will say to me, wait, you want me to talk to my 3-year-old about sex? That's not exactly where this is going. But there are some conversations that are appropriate to have with people of all ages. So for instance, young people who are maybe birth to 3, we can talk about what their body parts are called. Using pet names, which is very common, can sometimes send some misleading messages. And what I always say to folks is, if we can say this is our nose and this is our elbow, what does it say that we can't say those other words? This is also the time to start setting some ground rules around consent and bodily autonomy. For young people who are a little bit older, maybe school-age children, this is where we want to start talking about boundaries, when it is okay to give people hugs, when it's not, privacy, what things we do in the bathroom, aren't those things that we want to do like at the dining room table, and also our relationships. This is a great time to start talking about how to be a good friend, because being a good friend sets us up to be a good partner. Then, of course, once we get into the teenage years, we're going to be wanting to focus on how those relationships can evolve, how to assess for healthy, good things in relationships versus unhealthy things, where to get help if that's happening, and also things about prevention. We want to talk about contraceptives, we want to talk about condoms, or abstinence, which is also a great option, which a lot of young people don't realize. So here's how we do this. Here's how we make it more comfortable for everybody. We want to validate their feelings. When somebody comes to ask us a question, we want to really say, I'm so glad you asked, or thank you for asking, or that's a great question. These are things I do with my students a lot. And if they ask you something that you're uncomfortable with, it's okay to let them know that. If it's a too personal question, you can be like, hey, that's kind of personal. What do you really want to know? Because a lot of times they don't actually want to know about you and your activities. They want to know broad information. Or if you're not sure, it's completely okay to just say, I don't know. Let's look it up together. And that's modeling the idea that it can be looked up. Finally, if you need a moment to breathe, if your kid comes and you're not prepared, you're not ready, and you just need a moment to go, okay, the talk's happening. Something you can do is say, well, what do you think about that? Or, that's a great question. What makes you ask it? That gives you a moment to decide what and how you want to say. Using these tips can make the talk a lot easier for all of us.